So you wanted to be Bobby Brown.
So around 13 years old, I was kind of interested in being like Bobby Brown. The haircut, the clothes, and the girls liked him. But I grew up in church, and so I had this feeling of guilt about that. But I felt like I was being pulled in that direction of the world because it was so popular and it was so cool and all that. But I mean, I went from one extreme to the next. I went from getting in trouble at school, no, church, loving God, and getting in trouble at school, wanting to be a gang member. That didn't work out well. So said, okay, so I guess I'll get into something else. So for some reason, I drifted towards going to the library at 13 years old, reading about Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, and learning about Hebrew and the names of God and all this stuff. And interesting girls, and it was just, oh my God, it was crazy.
So I have two questions.
Mhm.
What do they still? So I know people still practice. Is it Kabbalah or
Kabbalah.
Kabbalah?
Kabbalah, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Kabbalah.
So I know people still do that today,
Yeah.
but it's Jewish. I didn't know
It's
that.
Jewish.
Okay.
Yeah. You didn't know that, huh?
Mm-mm. So what is it? What does it mean? I mean, I'm not trying to get anybody to do that, but
Like
or my,
Kabbalah, I used to
Like,
call
what's
it.
the
We call it
basic idea?
Kabbalah.
What's the
'Cause we
basic?
don't know how to say.
Okay.
It's like it's secret knowledge. It's secret
Okay.
knowledge. Yeah, it's knowledge that you're not going to hear at church. You probably want to hear at a synagogue. It's secret, and it's
Is that what
like,
makes it attractive?
that's
to
what
me?
makes it attractive.
Yeah.
It's hidden knowledge. It's hidden, and only I mean in the very beginning of Kabbalah, only men in their 40s. I mean, no offense, but women were not allowed to study it. Only men
I'm
in their
offended.
right. Only men in their 40s who were students of Torah for years
Okay.
were initiated into, if I'm getting this right, initiated into the study of Kabbalah.
So was it considered of God?
Yeah, it's more esoteric. It's more esoteric. It's more hidden. It's not your common day stuff. But it's
So,
also it's almost
Is it
like
changed now? Is it different than it used to be then? You think?
there's
I don't know if you
there's
know that.
snowflake Kabbalism like you find in New York. You find a Kabbalah center in
Because
Los
I feel like
Angeles.
the thing that's ringing in my mind is I feel like Madonna studied it.
Yeah, that's totally different. That was a
Okay.
little different. But I heard that she says she's Jewish.
Mm.
I don't know, whatever.
Well,
But
she might be, anyways.
yeah.
I,
Now, when I was studying Kabbalah, I found out that Jewish mysticism is nothing. Mysticism in religion is nothing new. There were many Catholic monks, many Catholic monks who were in the monasticism or whatever they were in the monasteries. They practiced mysticism. They practiced it,
Okay.
fasting, and they had visions of God. They had really like esoteric experiences with God.
so
I wanted
is-
that because I wanted that because I was not satisfied with life. I was not satisfied. I wasn't satisfied with church. I'd had enough. I've been in the Pentecostal church for years, and I just like, okay, I just hit the wall. I don't know what else to do with it.
So what age though? Like you're saying?
I was like 14,
Okay.
and I tried gang stuff. That didn't work out. I'm like, that didn't work out. And the girls liked me and my brother, but they knew there was something different about us. They knew that we were just not. We would talk street. We wasn't really about that life. We wasn't really about that. We were hiding a secret. The secret was God.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to hide. I didn't want them to know that's the secret. There's something about you. I've had them tell me that you and your brother don't belong here.
Mm.
And me and my brother looked at each other. We're at a teenage club, and the girl looked over and said, "You and your brother are like standing behind a window, looking in. You're peering in,
Mm.
but this isn't for you, and you don't belong."
How did you receive that?
We got mad. Like she was basically God revealed it to her.
Right.
She
Right.
was 16 years old. God revealed it to her.
So was she just a regular person or
She was my brother's girlfriend.
Oh,
She
oh.
said,
Sarah?
Sarah.
Alright.
She said, you and your brother's like you're standing behind a mirror just peering in.
Yeah.
But you don't belong here. I was like, God. He was like, why do I need to say that?
But I mean,
But
what? So
anyway.
you hit a wall with, and
I
I
hit a
think
wall.
that
I hit a wall.
that's what a lot of people do.
Mhm.
I think.
I hit the wall. I had reached the pinnacle. I thought I had reached like, okay, now what? Okay, speak in tongues. You know, praise and worship, all that. And then okay.
But you saw some stuff.
And it was amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. But then around 14, at around 14, I just started questioning everything. Like, Okay, now what? We just go to church every Sunday. We go to church Tuesday night Bible study. We go to church Friday night. Now what? It's just got to be more.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I started when I went to the library and I started studying the Kabbalah. I said, it has to be more than just church service every Sunday. And it had to be more. So that's what piqued my interest in that.
So I don't want to put you on the spot, but when you say more than, so do you think you found more than?
No, I didn't find it. No.
I mean now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because I found out a lot of that, for me, a lot of that was legalism.
Yeah.
And that doesn't satisfy either. That doesn't, just okay, do point A, point B, point C, and then you're righteous. That don't satisfy.
Yeah.
That's not going to satisfy. What bothered me in my experience in the church was I ran into, what caused was a big deal was I started asking questions. I started asking my mother, why do we do this?
Yeah.
Why do we go to church on Sunday? Do you know that? And I started studying, and knowledge is good, but sometimes knowledge can be like.
So did they have answers for your questions?
No, she didn't know why. She didn't know why. I said, why do we go to church on Sunday? I asked her that.
Like
Well,
that?
Jesus,
why that day?
Why that day? In the Bible, like we had this thing. In the Black Pentecostal church, we had this thing called testimony service.
Right.
People would get up and testify. I was like, where's that in the Bible? Like, why do we do this? And like, they act like if you don't do it, you're not really saved.
So they forced you.
You have to do that.
Because it is we.
Yeah, but when they did it, it was just like it was like people did it because they felt like if they didn't do it, they weren't really holy.
Right.
They weren't
just
really
like bringing your Bible and
bringing your Bible. And then I finally realized myself, it's tradition.
Right.
It's tradition. It's not biblical. You can't find a lot of stuff in the Bible. And then I just got sick. And then it caused a big blow between me and my mother. Mm-hmm. And it hurt my mother's feelings. Mm-hmm. And I wish to this day, I had not challenged her. I regret that. As I got older, I regret it. But then I was like, I had no problem with it. But then I was like, it caused a lot of hurt. And it caused some strain in our relationship. Because I questioned why we do what we do. Even I don't think she'd even thought that. She just looked. She was trying to get away from her past. And this, whatever you want to call it, tradition, helped save her. It saved her. It took her away from that life. And now I am 14 years old, questioning all of that.
Right. And
that was not, now I would never recommend you do that. Wisdom is, zeal is great, but you got to have wisdom. You need to have wisdom along with the zeal. I had a lot of zeal, but I didn't have wisdom because I was too young and I didn't know. Wisdom is.
As far as like what to
say, what not to say. When there's a time, there's a place,
So you feel like you were kind of coming out here challenging her or challenging?
I was sincere. I really wanted to know why.
Right.
But it just.
So you're like, why do we do it on Sunday if Saturday was the holy day?
Yeah, Jesus. He said the Sabbath was Saturday. Why are we doing this? Or
why? Well, then he said the Sabbath was made.
Oh, I told my mother this. I said the Greek word ecclesia does not mean a building.
So she's probably like,
and she was like, what? Ecclesia is the Greek word for church. It's an assembly of people. It's nothing to do with a building. We were, the way we grew up was the building that we were, was that structure, what's that? I can't think of it. Well, we're based.
Chapel?
Chapel? The structure was
sanctuary?
Everything. The sanctuary was everything. Okay. It's not, it was not the people. It's you go to this building, and it was a building-based religion. Building, you had to go to. And I just didn't. I challenged that when I said ecclesia does not mean that. That's where we get the word church from.
Right,
It's the people. It has nothing to do with a structure.
And probably nobody else was.
And nobody had ever said
looking
that
at that stuff between you and your brother.
Now them pastors weren't gonna talk about that because that's why them tithes and offerings came in. They weren't gonna talk about that. Bring it all in.
Right.
Bring it all into the storehouse. They weren't gonna talk about that. So, but I had no idea that I was kind of challenging the status quo, and that's a big status quo. You don't mess with that. Especially the black church. It's just very important that since the very beginning, even during slavery time, the church kept them sane. It was where they all met, families came together, the church.
Yeah.
So to
and that's not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing.
Right.
There's some good things in that.
Right.
But to challenge that status quo was no. That was a no. So that was my experience.